So what we're going to do first is we're going to start off with some basic foiling. So this is what we called factored form, this guy right here. So this is already factored. So we're already in factored form over here. So in order for us to get from factored form to expanded form, we need to FOIL. So I have x plus 2 times x plus 5. And we remember that FOILing, we take the first term and multiply by all the terms in the second bracket. And we take our second term and multiply by all the terms in the second bracket. So what does x times x give me, Jade? X squared. X times 5 is 5x. 2 times x is 2x plus 10. All right. So we're going to notice two things here. So 5 and 2, do they have anything to do with my number 10 over here? Do 5 and 2 have anything to do with 10? Think about ways that you can make 10 using those numbers. Camilla. Yeah. So 5 times 2 gives me 10. Okay. So you're gonna now when we do the rest of them, you guys are gonna start to notice a pattern. So 5 times 2 gives me 10. Okay. However, when I take 5x and add 2x, what does that give me? 7x. So those two numbers in the middle, they multiply together to give me my last number. But when you add them together, they give me my middle term of the trinomial when you expand it. So we're going to notice the same thing with b. So we expanded x plus 2 times x plus 5, and that gave us x squared plus 7x plus 10. So that last part is my expanded form. So when I factor it, my factored form of that expression is x plus 2 times x plus 5. And as you can see here, what are the last numbers in those two brackets? So 2 and 5, right? And what did you notice about the middle terms? They're 2 and 5. Okay, so now we're going to start seeing a pattern with B, C, and D. So let's FOIL B as well. So x times x gives me x squared. X times 3 gives me positive 3x. Negative 1 times x gives me negative x. And negative 1 times positive 3 gives me negative 3. So what do you notice about this positive 3 and this negative 1 over here? What do they have to do with negative 3? Olivia. Yeah, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Now, when I add 3x and minus x, what do I get? What's 3x minus x? No, positive 3x minus x. Yep. So those same two terms also gave me my middle term. Okay. So, and as you can see here, I have a negative 1 over here, and I have a positive 3 here. Like Olivia said, 3 times negative 1 gave me negative 3. But when I also take 3 and subtract it by 1, it gives me positive 2, which is my middle term over here. So it's going to get some time to get used to, but we're going to be doing the same thing with C and D. Yeah.
Are we not factoring?
No, we're expanding right now. But I'm trying to show you guys how we get the factored form from our expanded form and what they have to do with each other. So try doing the next one by yourselves. X minus 4 times x minus 2. Try FOILing that and expanding it.
X squared
Mhm.
was 2x minus 4x plus 8, and then negative 2x and negative 4 are in the brackets, and they equal 5 and 6 together.
Mhm. Yeah, and when you add them together, you got minus 6x plus 8. So as you can see here, negative 2 and negative 4, when you multiply them together, they give you negative 8. However,
Why is that important? I know I don't want that to sound rude or anything, but like, how is that important?
because it's going to teach us how to go from here to this. Right now we're going from factored and we're expanding, but we're going to go from expanded form into making two brackets. So that's why I said this one's probably going to get a bit confusing.
I have a question.
Yep.
Is it because like in all of them, the, like for example the 3 and the 1,
Mm-hmm.
the 5 and the 2, and then like the 2 and the 4, they were in the brackets as well?
Mm-hmm. And they all are considered to be factors of a number, which means they are part of making a certain number. So 5 and 2, when you multiply those together, they give you 10. So those are considered factors of 10. And then the last one we have, if we FOIL, we get x squared minus 4x plus 1 minus 4. And that gives us x squared minus 3x minus 4.
Should it would always be like that? Like the middle ones times each other will always equal the.
Yep. So now that we figured out how to go from factor to expanded form, we're now going to figure out how in the world we're going to go from expanded form into factoring. So do you guys remember any of this from grade 10? I don't know if you guys touched this in grade 10. No? Have any of you guys done it? Factoring? No?
Yes, I think.
Remember? Ish? Like, kinda? Maybe? Okay. So, when a trinomial is written as a product of two binomials, which that means when there's two brackets, it is considered to be in factored form. So when you factor a trinomial, when you have x squared plus bx plus c, something is done. So these two numbers here, b and a, they create the last number. So what I mean, it's better to see it in terms of a example. So we have x squared plus 7x plus 10. So first of all, we're going to focus on our last number here, our number 10. So we need to figure out what numbers multiplied together give us a product of 10. So what are two numbers that multiply to give us 10? Ashton. 5 and 2. So we know 5 times 2 gives me 10. Okay, perfect. Now I also have to check if those same two numbers add up to give me the number 7. So when I add 5 and 2 together, do they give me 7?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember this, but I understand it.
They give you 7.
Okay.
So now if you were to write it in terms of a factor, you have your two brackets.
And it would be.
Each one is going to start with x.
I knew it.
And then the number that comes is the numbers that you use. So we use positive 5. So it's going to be plus 5. And and then positive 2, so it's plus 2. Because now, when I expand this or FOIL this, I'm going to get x squared plus 5x plus 2x plus 10. Okay, so this is if I were to expand it. And it's still going to give me x squared plus 7x plus 10. So I'm going to give you guys examples with the same last number. So I'm going to give you guys negative 10, positive 10, negative 10. Yes, Jade?
What if it multiplies into the same number, but it doesn't add to the
Then you have to figure out another combination of numbers. So,
figure out another combination.
for example, if I had x squared plus 5x plus 10, the only numbers that multiply 10 are 5 and 2 and 1 and 10. They will never add up to 5, so that would be considered not factorable. So you would say not possible. So you would just leave it as is. B is possible.
It is?
Yeah. Remember, the last number, is it positive 10 or negative 10?
Oh, it's negative.
Yeah. So you're going to focus on the numbers that make up negative 10. So what are two numbers that multiply to give us negative 10? Ashton. Which one's negative, which one's positive? Okay. So let's do 10 times negative 1. That gives me negative 10. Okay, good. However, what's 10 plus negative 1?
9.
Okay. Is my middle term negative 9 or positive 9? Negative. So this one wouldn't work.
The 10 would have to be negative.
Yeah, so therefore the 10 has to be negative. So we'd have negative 10 times positive 1, which is negative 10, which is good. And negative 10 plus 1 is negative 9, which is exactly what we want over here. So now if I were to write them in terms of a factor, what would be in my two brackets? Read up.
X, subtract 10 and then x plus 1.
Yep.
Is there any order that you want?
You can write x plus 1, x minus 10. Just make sure that x is always first. I think I have two here. Yep. We'll do C together, and then D you guys will do on your own. So for C, again, I'm focusing on my last number, which is positive 10. Okay? Is my middle number positive or negative? Negative. Okay? My middle number is negative, but my last number is positive. So what would work? What would work? So what are two negative numbers that give me positive 10, Brooklyn?
Negative 2 times negative 5.
Yep. So negative 2 times negative 5, that would give me negative 10. And now we take those same two numbers and add them together. Yeah, and we're looking for positive 10. Yeah.
But then 2 and 5.
My middle term is negative, so I need to make sure when I add those two numbers, they give me negative 7.
But then how do you make it so that it's positive?
Whoops. My bad. There we go. I mistook that. That was my bad. Yeah, so negative times a negative is going to be a positive. Sorry. So negative 2 times negative 5 gives me positive 10.
Okay.
And those same two numbers, when I add them together, negative 2 plus negative 5, they give me negative 7. So what is my factor going to look like? Try to write these in brackets. Read up. Yep.
Is that the only answer we need to have with like show off?
Yep. And then you guys are going to do D by yourself. So we have D, we have x squared minus 3x minus 10. So you're going to focus on your last number, which is negative 10. So think of numbers that multiply to give you negative 10. Abby? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. Olivia?
-5 and 2.
Yep, -5 times 2. That gives me -10. Now let's see if those same numbers add up to give me -3. So -5 plus 2, what does that give me? -3. So my brackets are going to be x minus 5, x plus 2. First C, what did I do wrong? I just realized. What's my variable in C? Is it x or is it a different letter? B. So are you guys starting to notice the pattern here? What to do? Pretty easy. So this is what we call simple trinomial factoring. Can anyone tell me why it's simple? Do we have a number in front of the x squared? No.
Please tell me we're never gonna get number.
There's no number in front of the x squared.
Are we gonna have to learn?
You will have to learn when there is a number in front of the x squared.
So then do we have to like find numbers?
No. There's different methods. But just worry about the easy stuff for now. Okay. So let's see if you guys can do E, F, and G on your own. Take like 5 minutes to do both of those, or the 3 of them on your own. So remember, for E, you're focusing on the last number. For E, F, and G, you're focusing on those. So take a couple minutes to do those on your own. Was anyone able to get E?
Yeah.
Okay, what did you guys get? What would your 2 brackets be? Camilla?
I put A plus 4 and A plus 6.
Yep.
Is there multiple?
A plus 4 and A plus 6. What did you guys get something else?
I'm just asking, does it matter the
No, you can put A plus 6 first and then A plus 4 after.
Sorry, so how do we fix the A plus 4?
So we're going to take 6 and multiply by 4. So 6 times 4 gives us what?
24.
24. And now you take those 2 numbers, the same 2 numbers, and you add them up. Okay? And it has to give me positive 10 because my middle number here, Emma, right here, I'm underlining it, is positive 10. So those add up to 10.
I thought we were trying to figure out I thought that when you add the numbers, it's always supposed to be the last one.
No, you multiply to get the last number, and then you have to add them to get your middle number. So for example, the next one, it has to multiply to 24, but then you have to add them together, and it has to give you 11. So Olivia, what did you get for F? Try what's 7 times 4? You made a little mistake right there. Chelsea?
X plus 8 and X plus 3.
Yep. So you have x plus 8 and x plus 3. So 8 times 3 gives me 24, and 8 plus 3 gives me 11, which is my middle number.
Order doesn't matter.
Order doesn't matter. You can put x plus 3 and then x plus 8, as long as your x's are first, or the variable. Does anyone want to take a stab at that last one? Ashton.
X minus 6 and plus 4.
Was everyone able to get those?
No.
Okay. So, -6 times +4, what does that give me? Perfect, which is what we want because it's our last number, -24. Now I need to take those same two numbers, add them together, and they have to give me -2. So -6 plus 4, what does that give me? -2. So we got that part fine, which means -6 and +4 work. So when I factor it, now I can write my factors as x minus 6 times x plus 4.
I'm having trouble just finding the correct number.
Yeah, no worries. You'll do the next 3 questions and I'll come around and check the work. So HIJ, work for the next 5 minutes on those and I'll come around and check to see how you guys are doing.
Is this how far it goes? Is this how far it goes?
Oh, you're cold too?
Yeah, it's really cool
Yeah.
today.
Oh, Brooklyn, you're not the only one. It's cold.
Sorry?
It's actually cold in here. Okay, so most of you have gotten it. What is my first one? What would H be? Factored. Emma.
Bracket x plus 8 close bracket and bracket x.
Yep, but what should I write instead of X?
Oh, you do it.
So A plus 8, A plus 2. Because 8 times 2 gives me 16, and 8 plus 2 gives me 10. So that's good. What would my next one be? Brooklyn.
So B plus 16 and then B plus 1.
Yep. Sixteen times 1 is 16. 16 plus 1 is 17. So we're good. And then the last one, Chelsea.
X minus 8 and x plus 2.
Perfect. X minus 8, X plus 2. So how easy is this from 1 to 10 right now?
6. 6, 7.
Fair, fair. 6, 7, 8. That's good. 5? That's fine. Once you start getting practice, it'll be like the easiest thing ever. So for the last two examples, I want to find 3 values for k such that the trinomial can be factored over the integers. So I don't have my last number. However, I do have my middle number. What are numbers that add up to -9? Brooklyn, what's one of them?
3 times -3. Oh,
Add to -9. Because I don't have my last number, I need to figure it out.
5 plus, -5.
Yep,
Plus
plus.
-4.
Yep, perfect. -5 plus -4 is equal to -9. Perfect. Now, in order for me to find my k, what does my k have to be if we're using -5 and -4? Olivia. Yep. So k is equal to -5 times -4, which is 20. So k can equal to 20. There are other possibilities. What are other numbers that add up to -9? Olivia. 8 plus -1 gives me -9. Perfect. And now I can find my k, or my last number, by multiplying those two numbers together. So k can equal -8 times -1. So what does k have to be as well? 8. And someone find me one other way to add -9. -10 plus 1. So now k can be -10 times +1, which gives me what? -10. So there are 3 ways in which we can write this expression. So I can write it as x squared minus 9x plus 20. So that's 1. 2, I can write it as x squared minus 9x plus 8. And the third way I can write it as x squared minus 9x minus 10. Yeah.
On the test, we have to find all the different.
I wouldn't say find all. I'd be like, give me 4 examples. Just like
we
this
have to
one.
find like 4 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have to do the equation afterwards for all of them.
Yeah, you would just write it in standard form like that. That's fine. Because if you factor it, you'll end up getting x minus 5 times x minus 4, and then all of that stuff again.
It's not multiplied.
So the middle Okay, the middle number you have to add. Okay, the last number you multiply.
Oh, so the number you multiply, okay, I get it.
Okay. Now the next one, I have x squared minus kx plus 6. I need to figure out what k is, except this time I have my last number. So what are numbers that multiply to give me positive 3? Remember, my k here is negative, so I need two negative numbers to give me a positive. So what are, Olivia? So negative 3 times negative 2 gives me positive 6. And now in order for me to find k, I need to take negative 3 plus negative 2. And what does that give me? Negative 3 plus negative 2. Negative 5. And there should be one more. Alicia.
-1 and -6.
Yep. Negative 1 times negative 6 gives me positive 6. And now to find k, I'm just going to add them together. Negative 1 plus negative 6, and that gives me negative 7. Are there any other values of k, or is that it? That's it. So our first equation can be x squared minus 5x plus 6. My second one is x squared minus 7x plus 6. So as you can see, once you guys start seeing the pattern, these things start becoming easy. So you guys have, I thought that lesson was went pretty well. So that was going to be long.